Hey everybody, so today we're going to carry on talking about dry fire. We're going to cover basically what you need to get going in dry fire, and we'll cover one or two tips for you guys. So basically in your dry fire you'll need your holster or sports rig setup along with your gun and some magazines to get going. That's your bare minimum. Magazines, for me, I've got two magazines that have been dedicated to dry fire only. They'll never be used in any sort of live fire format, practice matches. These are for dry fire only. They're loaded to division capacity with dummy rounds, and they each topped off with a snap cap or two for further identification. The dummy rounds is essentially just inert ammunition that I loaded on my press so that I could simulate weight in the magazine for reloads, and obviously when the magazine's in the gun I can simulate the weight of the gun that I'll typically find at a match. This is also going to be beneficial if you dry firing with your EDC, simulating that weight a little bit. The other reason for having something in your magazines is important because if there's nothing in the magazine, your magazine feed lips are going to be exposed, and when you're working on or practicing reloads, the chances of those magazine feed lips binding up on the mag well of your gun is pretty high, and obviously that's not good for the magazine, your gun, or your practice. So that's a good reason for having at least something in your magazine, a snap cap or a spent casing, or dummy ammunition or dummy rounds. That basically covers what you'll need as far as the most basic equipment. If you don't have a shot timer, I would highly recommend that you get yourself a dedicated shot timer. If you don't, you can get by with downloading an app on your phone, but ultimately having a dedicated timer is going to be better for your practice. And for me, over the past few months I've been working with the AMG Lab Commander timer. I'm exceptionally happy with the timer as far as functionality goes, and I'm exceptionally happy with the amount or what you get in the product itself. That's going to cover what you need on yourself. You're obviously going to need something to aim at. For me, I'm running IPSC shaped templates at the moment, cut from acrylic board. I've got full targets, I've got no shoots that I can use to create partials, and that's topped off with having some simulated steel, both in the shape of steel plates and poppers like this one. I'd like to point out that with the targets that you decide to use in your dry fire, you must be aware of having good and defined scoring zones on your targets. Having targets that pass fail or where the scoring zones are very difficult to see is not going to be beneficial for you in the long run. If you're very new to dry fire and you need quite a bit of direction on where it goes, maybe a higher level of structure, then I highly recommend that you get yourself some dry fire related content, such as some books. There's a few good authors who've released books. That's going to offer you a set of structured drills that you can work on and learn maybe a little bit more about the sport, and are obviously going to push you in the right direction to fundamental improvements or gun handling skills. For me, the book that I go to for drills that are structured and are heavily based on fundamental work or gun handling skills is going to be the 12 drills from Steve Anderson's Refinement and Repetition book. He's written 3 books, they're very good. If you want to have some audio feedback on dry fire and what guys are doing with it, I'd have a look at getting in on Steve Anderson's podcast, that shooting show. That should help you out. But having that structure is going to help push you in the right direction. And if you've got stuff that's going to give you a structured set of drills, that's also going to help you. On top of that, most guys are going to be counting repetitions when they start dry firing. So for example, if they're working on the draw, they're going to draw the gun 10 times and then say, okay, I've done it, for example. What I learned from Steve that was quite important was with your dry fire drills, instead of counting the repetitions, set a timer in your phone or tablet for anything between 2 and 7 minutes and run a specific drill for that time period before moving along onto the next one. And what that does is you should get an increased number of reps. And what it does is, because you're not consciously counting the number of repetitions you've done or you're on, you tend to become more subconscious with the drill, and then your learning within the skills that are required for that drill should improve quite a bit. So keep that in mind. Instead of counting repetitions, set a part time in your phone and work through the drills as you need them. That should get you guys off to a very good start in the dry fire, what you need, what to think about, and I hope that it helps you. We're going to be covering some more stuff in the next couple of videos. If you have any questions, please send them through to me. I will answer them to the best of my abilities. But until then, stay safe, and we'll see you on the range soon. Thanks, guys.